This is the plaintiff, Bruce Verbeck. He says he went to the defendant's art gallery to retrieve his friend's artwork, which hadn't sold since they were first placed in there in 2002, and they weren't there. First, they told him they were in storage. Then they told him they already paid him, which they didn't, and now they're missing. This is an outrage. He's not going to go away and is suing for the $3,600.91 value of the artwork. This is the defendant, Barry. He says he has no idea who the plaintiff is, but does know the artist of these fabulous paintings passed away some time ago. For the record, the artwork was placed into storage and then sold. It's a little suspicious this guy comes walking in off the street, making a claim for this artist and demanding the prints. There's one thing he does know, it's that he doesn't owe this guy a dime. He's accused of pilfering paintings.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant stole his artwork. The defendant says the plaintiff is an imposter. The art wasn't done by him. The artist is dead. It's the case of, hello, Dolly.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Bruce Verbeck,
Yes, ma'am.
you are suing Barry and his gallery. You've asked us not to use your last name or the gallery's name. We'll respect that. For $3,691 in damages that you say they owe you for not returning some property that is yours. Tell me what's going on.
Yes, Your Honor. In October 2002, I brought 11 watercolor art prints from a friend of mine who started painting in his late 60s, and they're worth selling. And the art gallery looked like a good place to do business with because they also had a framing shop. And so I brought in 11 watercolors in frames.
Who was the artist on the watercolors?
The artist is Dr. Roger Lally, and I do have some of his prints right here.
Can I see them?
Yes, please.
I thought you said they were watercolors.
They are watercolors.
Get outta here.
This artist got to be so good that they almost look photorealistic.
They really did.
And the main thing about this artist was that he only used the 3 primary colors. So if you see any white going through the paper, that's the weight of the paper. It's not a color. There's no color white. It's the paper. So if you make a mistake, paint the color a different color than what you wanted, it's ruined. So it's a very slow process. Each one of these paintings would take anywhere from 6 to 12 months or longer to paint, because I'd go over to his house and you'd see him progress, and it'd be basically about an inch a day. But it's amazing. It's
this
amazing.
one, they're all beautiful. This one you can sort of tell it's a watercolor. This one I'm just floored by. This one just looks like a photograph. The Buffalo Naval Servicemen's Park.
The Servicemen's Park, where the sub is.
All right. When did you bring these? Not these, but when did you bring the prints we're in discussion?
Well,
over
I
there?
started working with them in 2002. So since I'm only
Did they buy them?
No, they put them on consignment, and I have that receipt.
May I see the receipt?
Yes. I apologize for the scribble on the receipt because my kids were 2 and 4 back then.
Oh, goodness. Oh, yes, I know these. I had many of these on my walls.
Yes.
Little concentric circles all around the house.
And I think little Whitney got a hold of that one, who's an artist now, that I think she touched it up. But as you can see, it says...
No, I can't see anything.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. On consignment. What does it say underneath that? Something % off. What does it say?
It was 50% off the print price.
What's the price, though? There's no price.
They had the price, but I also have another receipt that has the
Okay, give me the
print
paperwork
price.
for this transaction.
Okay.
Okay, and it's back in 2002?
Yes.
And it says consignment for 1 week.
I know. It was a consignment for 1 week, but then when I went back after another week, they asked me if I could keep them there longer.
Where's the paperwork for that?
It never occurred. It was a verbal agreement that they would keep my prints at the gallery longer. And that
$4,000 worth of stuff, and you didn't put it in writing, and this is your business?
Well, it's not my business. I was doing the prints as a favor for my friend. So it's not like I'm in the art business.
Well, I mean, what do you do for a living?
I'm a stay-home dad.
Okay, what is your line of work if you ever worked? Did you ever work?
Yes, I was in the military, and I was an Army aviation pilot. I flew Black Hawk helicopters.
Oh, you got to have some connected brain cells for that. All right. Okay.
3 tours of Iraq.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so go on.
And then After 2 years of no sales, I went back to them and I wanted to get out all my 11 prints and frames. And they asked me to keep five of the top sellers. And then I have a new receipt from them where in April 2004, I have 5 prints on consignment now.
Oh, okay. So this is the new receipt.
Yes, for 5
in
prints.
2004.
Yes.
And this one just says 11 pieces. We have no idea what pieces they are. This
Right.
is not the way business should be done. Who is Ellen Sellers?
Eileen Sellers.
Eileen, I'm sorry, Eileen Sellers. I mean, there should be a little more detail in there because,
I don't know if I could see it.
yeah, well, it's from 2002. You were young and inexperienced.
We've been in business for 45 years.
Well, it's my handwriting, but I just don't believe the date is 2002 because that's our whole side of
Go
our
ahead.
case.
Go ahead. Now
Shall
it's
I go on
good.
with-
Go ahead.
Okay, because we really don't carry photo reproductions in large editions, which is what Bruce brought in.
Prince.
They're prints. His watercolors were never for sale. The way he worked, because we tried
Dr.
to.
Lally.
Yeah, we contacted Dr. Lally about buying actual watercolors because we mostly sell one-of-a-kind pieces. That's basically all people want these days.
It's an art gallery?
Yeah, we've had an art gallery for 40 years in Buffalo,
Okay.
in the same location. And we mostly sell one-of-a-kind pieces, so we really wouldn't be interested in photo reproductions unless a company just wanted to decorate their office with large pieces. But the value, they actually have a very low value of retailing at $100 currently, because we did go to see Bondcraft yesterday, and she gave us a receipt for what we could buy a piece currently for, and it would retail at $100.
Is that a competitor?
No, this
No,
is the original
this-
company we dealt with. That was Dr. Lowry's partner.
But you did deal with him, right?
No.
You never dealt with
I
him?
think he was a courier that
He might
brought
have
them
dropped
in
them off when we
years ago
originally.
for Dr. Lally.
But do you recognize him from before that? Before
I
he came?
recognize him from a few months back, maybe about 2 or 3 months ago. My daughter and I were in the gallery. He came in and he said, "You owe me money for Dr. Lally's prints." And I said, "I'm sure Barry paid for it. Do you have a receipt?" I don't remember really much about it. Wasn't it like 20 years ago? And he came in with the receipt, and my daughter and I said, "Oh my God, it's conveniently scribbled over." And I didn't think it was legitimate at all. I just thought personally that he was in need of money, and I didn't really take it seriously.
So whose responsibility is it to keep tabs on this stuff? The artists, the plaintiff, or the person he's storing it with? What do you think?
I think it should probably be the artist.
Why?
Because it's their stuff. I mean, they're responsible to take care of their own.
True enough, but it's also being kept by the guy who has the store, the art store.
Yeah, I think at one point the artist and the store got to talk and have a date.
But when they don't, when push comes to shove, is it the store's fault?
The guy that owns the store is the one with a business plan. I mean, he's selling other artists' stuff. Doesn't he have a business plan? Should be already worked out.
Fair point. It's a fair point. Going inside the courtroom.
The problem that I have with this receipt is that you've already told me this receipt is superseded by this receipt. And this is 10 years old. But then this is superseded by this receipt, which is also way long ago. And this is a purchase order, which represents that somebody got paid $517. I don't know who, because nobody's name is on this, but you gave it to me. So how is this not somebody getting paid for the prints?
It was just a receipt of the art that remained in the gallery.
But it doesn't say consignment. It doesn't prove
I
what
know
you're
they
saying.
didn't. I think they have shoddy record
It
keeping.
actually shows the opposite of what, yeah, but you're the guy.
I know, I understand.
Yeah. And then the bulk of your lawsuit is $2,259.18 for frames, none of which is on the receipts, right?
No, it's not.
In fact, the original receipt said 11 prints. And so how is it that 5 that you left that never said frames all of a sudden have frames on them at $300, at a modest, in your words, modest $322 each for the frames that you left there for
Yes.
10 years? Like,
They had a framing shop, and when I dropped the prints off, they were framed, and they had a framer called Eric. I'm not sure what Eric's last name, but he did all the framing for them.
why'd you leave this there 10 years? And why are you suing so long later?
Well, because I kept on going back, and here's what happened was, finally, when Dr. Lally passed away, I would go in every 3-4 months to stop in, and Eileen would contest to that I would always stop in an art gallery. As long as the prints were in a gallery, I didn't have a problem with because they were prints and they were for sale. So as long as they were being showed, I was happy with that, and hopefully they'd have a sale someday. But then finally, in 2010, the artist passed away. So that September, I went in, and the prints were completely gone. There was no more Dr. Lowry prints. So they strung me along for months, saying that they moved them to storage. They were too busy to get them out of storage. They were in storage. And eventually, I went in there this year in January, and Eileen told me that Barry paid for them all. And what basically happened to me is I dropped off the 7 prints with frames and never had any compensation.
Do you have any proof that you paid for them?
The records that we keep now, because we remodeled, only go back 7 years. We took all our records and we disposed of them by
But you
shredding
clearly
them.
took things on consignment.
We have a consignment form that we use whenever something's left on the long-term
Wait, the
consignment.
superseding 2004 document doesn't say consignment.
Can I see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What it says is the price, and then it has the total price.
Yeah.
And it's 50% off. How is this supposed to show that you left 5 pieces there for consignment in 2004?
I don't know. That was their record keeping.
Right, but you know what the consignment, the word consignment is on there. Like the receipt your daughter scribbled on that says consignment. But this does not say consignment. It says the opposite of consignment. It has the prices, and then it says total $1035, and then it has a figure which represents 50% of that. So I don't see how with this 2004 purchasing order, you're going to be able to collect $4,000 today. Especially when 2,300 of that 3,600 that you're suing for are frames, which are in no receipt.
We would never want them framed because that's how we would make money on.
It's just sell
They're
framed if you
basically
have a framing.
reproductions that have no value, so we would be making money selling the frames.
Okay, on your claim against them, 0. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
The plaintiff served 3 tours of duty in Iraq. Thank you for your service there.
Thank you.
And the result of this case, what's your reaction to this?
I'm a little disappointed, but it's something that you have to do in the memory of the artist and bringing the prints. I lost the prints and the frames, and I heard a lot of erroneous information from the other side. But that's the law. And
Where are the originals? Were the original watercolors?
The originals are in Buffalo. They're in various art galleries.
Mm-hmm. All right. Good luck to you. We're head right around the corner here. Thank you again.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So the defendant wins his case. Step on over here. The art guy, step up. What's your reaction to the outcome here?
Well, I'm glad that the truth came out, that the gentleman did not bring in 11 pieces framed. Mm-hmm. They didn't even have 11 pieces to sell.
What do you think happened here?
Well, I think he's a stay-at-home dad that needs money.
All right. Over to Harvey.
Okay, so the gentleman behind me, who's twice as tall as me, has a good point, actually, that it is actually the responsibility of both parties to stay in touch with each other when you leave something in consignment. If you don't do it, I'm telling you, you're asking for trouble. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.